This is Mrs. Mead, and we will be talking about functions and disorders of the digestive system. All right, as you can see, all of the structures of the digestive system, which you've already learned, are listed on this page. Now we're going to talk about functions of the digestive system. So, beginning with the very first thing that you do is put food in your mouth. Okay, so what happens when you put food in your mouth? You start to chew. So you start to chew or masticate. Mastication is what chewing is. You start that mechanical breakdown of food. You start that chemical breakdown by the saliva. And then you push that food back into the pharynx for swallowing. Your tongue is another tool that is used for your digestion. So without your tongue in your mouth, you would not be able to push around the food to different sides of your mouth and whatnot. So it manipulates that food, gets it all around in your mouth. You have your taste buds in your mouth that serve their purpose. All right, the different teeth that we have. I'm not going to go into all these. You can see what they are. You can pause the video and write them down. But you know, the teeth is the mechanical breakdown. We have several different teeth that serve as different different roles. All right, our salivary glands. Again, that's the first accessory organs of digestion. They do contribute to that chemical digestion by producing that saliva, which is mostly water, but it does contain other things like enzymes, and it contains antibodies and things like that that help digest or break down that food. It also functions to lubricate and moisten the food that we have in our mouth. Protects your mouth against bacteria and aids in that chemical digestion. All right, so inside the mouth we have the hard and soft palate, remember, from structures. All right, that's what separates the nose from the nasal cavity from the oral cavity. Prevents that food from going up into our nose. All right, the uvula also helps to prevent food from going up into the nasal cavity. Pharynx, or throat, connects the mouth, the nasal cavity. It has a dual role of digestion and respiration. It has muscular layers that help push that food down the esophagus. Your esophagus is that tube, that long tube that helps transport that food from here to there, to your stomach. When you chew up that food, it's a bolus. So you chew it up in that big old wad that you swallow, that is called a bolus. Peristalsis helps to bring that food down to the stomach. It doesn't just fall out of your throat into your stomach or out of your mouth into your stomach. It has to move down by peristalsis. So those rhythmic contractions help to bring it down. Stomach, all right? It also moves and churns food, squeezes and contracts, helps that food to digest some more, or break down some more. Peristalsis helps it to move into the pylorus, which is that at the beginning of the small intestine. It acts as a temporary holding place for the food. After it gets all that stuff mixed up and gastric enzymes and all that, gets it all mixed up, when it gets to the small intestine, it is called chyme. So it's a partially digested food. It's kind of a heavy cream-like liquid made of mixture of gastric juices and food. Your stomach does absorb small amounts of water, and it takes about 4 hours to empty it. All right, these are our gastric juices, a variety of different types of gastric enzymes: hydrochloric acid, pepsinogen, mucus. The parietal cells do secrete that hydrochloric acid. Chief cells secrete pepsinogen. And when those two make contact with each other, pepsin is formed. All right, I'm not going to read the rest of those. You can yourself. but they are very important, very important enzymes that we need to know. Small intestine. This is where chemical breakdown is occurring, and that's most of it. Peristalsis, again, has to move through all that 20 feet of small intestine, okay? The walls also secrete a digestive enzyme, but 80% of those nutrients are absorbed there. Amino acids, vitamins, things like that are absorbed there. And the villi-like villi or finger-like projections provide that increase in surface area in the small intestine. All right, pancreas secretes those digestive enzymes. The type of enzymes that are secreted are listed below there: carbohydrates, lipases, proteinases, nucleases. All right, your liver has a really big role. It has a very big role. It has to detoxify any harmful substances that you take into your body. So, and we're constantly putting things into our body that maybe we shouldn't be putting into it. So it works very, very hard to keep us healthy. It also does some other jobs as well, very important jobs, such as creating that plasma proteins and albumin and prothrombin, which helps us not to bleed to death. The anticoagulant that helps us not to have too thick of blood. So it has a lot of purposes in our body. All right, the gallbladder secretes that bile, and that helps to that aids in digestion as well. Large intestines is where a lot of water is absorbed. Also vitamins are absorbed there. So what happens in the large intestine is, so whatever the small intestine didn't want, it gets thrown into the large intestine. Okay, so what it does, it compacts the waste products and gets ready to eliminate it. So otherwise known as your poo. Okay, peristalsis is also here as well, but it's a little slower. And it moves that fecal matter towards the rectum, as you can see on here, and then of course then you get rid of it. So it turns it does remove a lot of the excess water, and then it turns into that semi-solid mass. All right, I'm going to pause here.